as I said, right in front of plant science. The D's, all three of them used the ledges of plant science last year, as everybody saw, for feeding, sleeping, resting, playing around on, and just generalized being little birds. The gardens, hold on a second. Were restored in 1991. They were planted in 1936. It's about the same time as the Arboretum started getting itself together. When the civilian conservation group came in and rebuilt what used to be a 100-acre farm that Cornell housed all its beef cattle on into what it is today. We will get in there. Believe me, I'm going to take you all over this campus. We're looking at Roberts Hall at the end of the Ag Quad. We've had, let's start this on an even note. We've had the D's on these halls down through here quite often. This is where I first encountered D1 when I was by myself. And later on, I encountered him again, and Baguette was with me. I was helping her with the tour. And I came up here, and this is the first place D1 made a full contact with me. Now, people will think I'm loony with that idea, but he did do a nice job of saying hi. All right, as you turn to the left, good luck. There we go. More trees, as usual. That is part of Kennedy Hall down that way. You see the glass dome on the right. We've gotten the D's up there quite a few times. They seem to enjoy hanging out up there. Down below that glass dome is where all the tables were. D1 and D3 hopped down on them a few times. Around to the left. Up, there we go. That's the temp building. I don't know why they call it the temp building. Maybe they're going to move it out of here someday, but last year, the D's were all on top of that at various times, playing around. D1 always liked to hang out on that corner right there on the left. That's the first time I saw him up close was on that corner, and I just walked by him and said, "Hi, how you doing?" And he looked at me like I was really prolifically stupid. And I couldn't figure out, wow, what'd you do, man? Why are you looking at me like that for? A few days later, he launched himself from that corner, and he went, as we swooped down through, he went down through, I'm having a tough time with this gear, down through the quad, and that one tree to the left of that fire hydrant, he made a left-hand turn around that fire hydrant, which I was a few feet from it. He came back up to that tree on the left and perched on it, on the lower limb that sticks out to the right. That's when he and I started having little chats. It got interesting. He would not shy away from me at all. It seemed that he built up no fear of me at all. He built up some trust in me. I don't know if you want to call it trust, but he did build up something with me, and we sat there for about 10 minutes. It was about a couple days later, I think it was, 3 days later, I'm sorry, down at the end down there by that hall down there, the small squirrel was going across the ground, and I got to witness D1 making his first kill on a squirrel, that is. I don't know if he killed anything else, but at least the first visual encounter. So I knew Baguette was down by a while. I went down to get her, bring her back up, and see if we could get him on the squirrel. By the time we got here, him, the squirrel, were gone. He and the squirrel, I got to get my English straight. He and the squirrel were gone. We were left sitting there wondering what happened. We started looking for him. Never did find him. Let's spin back around this way. As you can see, there's a lot of ornamental grasses up around these buildings. Shrubbery, flowering shrubs, bushes, all intentionally put in and arranged so that they fit the environment. I think about 80% of Cornell is covered by environmentally cohabitable grasses and trees and stuff from around this area. The Arboretum is also full of bushes and shrubs and trees from other countries that are compatible with this area. So it's quite an arrangement they have around here. When they started rebuilding the Arboretum, as I said, it started out as a 100-acre field. They kept their Angus cattle on it. Then 1931, I think it was, if I'm not mistaken, the Civil Conservation Corps came in, better known as the CCC. And they got requested to come in and rebuild the area for Cornell University to use as a study and with trees and local plants. That, if I'm not mistaken, took a total of 6 years. They housed the men who work for the CCC down at the end of Judd Falls. And while they were working on it, they put in 4 miles of roads and 8 miles of walking paths. Rebuilt a lot of stone walls, planted a lot of trees and a lot of shrubs, and worked the pond. 1981, Mr. F.R. Newman decided to come in, and he wanted to enhance the area to bring more natural flowering shrubs, trees, and bushes from around the world that could live in this climate and coincide with everything we have here. It worked out. 1983, he dedicated the place. 1982 or 1983, I'm not sure which yet. He rededicated about 100 people here to hear the dedication. That's with the generosity of one person. Now you've got hundreds of trees, hundreds of plants, and a lot of flowering shrubs. This was built, the Ag Quad was built as part of the agricultural learning system here. A lot of people pass through here every year to learn better plant management processes, better lawn care processes, biocare, anything to do with plants. This is the area that they learn these things in. Okay, now we're getting wet. Let me flip you back around, tighten this thing up, and we'll move a bit. Man, I wish it'd quit raining. Who turned this mess on? Oh, while I'm standing here, that green fence just to the right of that little sapling, the closest to the fence, right out there. Last year, D1 went after a woodchuck in front of that fence. The woodchuck stood up to defend itself, and he pulled up at the last minute, landed up on the fence, and looked down at that woodchuck. And I had more fun laughing at him with that. I couldn't believe he had the audacity to go after an adult woodchuck. Not at his young age, but he tried, and consequently, he failed. Oh, the blue lights are on. We're heading back towards plant science. This is what I want to do, is give everybody a ground's eye view as I also go along and we make a bird's eye view. As long as people aren't out here, I don't have to worry about them showing up on cam. I can video the ground. It's important. You got to understand, these birds hunt creatures on the ground, so those bus coming. Turn it the other way. When they hunt out here, everything they hunt is out somewhere near the ground. Unless they get brave and go after a pigeon in the air. And still nobody on Bradfield. All right, I'm going over here a few yards. Is that the tree? That's the tree. See that big tree right there? When I get over here, I'm going to plant you. Whoops. We're going to take a look at that tree for a minute. And I'll tell you why this tree is really, it was an astounding point to me last season. All right, let's get this thing shut up. cocked up, set up, all this. There. This big tree right here, to get it set there. Last year when Bogat and I were up here and Carl was on vacation, I gotta straighten this out, so bear with me. There. Oh, I was on vacation. Cindy, Bogat and I came up here. How you doing? Good. Bogat and I came up here, and D3 landed up in this tree. Now, we were standing here for quite a while talking and watching her. And she went off Bogat went for a walk towards the east and around the end of the temp building that's here. Right about up in there, D3 sat there for a few minutes, and Bogat had come back. And we were standing here talking, and D3 swooped down right to the ground level, reached her right leg out, and tried to grab a bumblebee in her talons. And that wasn't even 16, 17 feet away. It was within that range as she was there. We could see the bee. We could see the talons reaching for the bee. She then flew off west of us, landed on the lawn, and seemed to sit there and have a little hissy fit. A few minutes later, she flew off, and I kept standing here with D2. Cindy went down. Cindy. I got her on my mind today. Bogat went down around the corner and started back up through from around by Plant Sciences. And D3 come around and landed up on top of Plant Science, so I pointed up at it. She stood there for a minute, and I started turning the cam. Bogat started walking towards me at the corner, right about, I can get this thing zipped there. She got right by that corner, and D3 swooped right down behind her and came right up within 5 feet of her and landed up on the corner of the building. I'm sitting there pointing and saying, Bogat, Bogat. She turned on. I thought she was going to have a hissy fit right then there. She started her, and I got laughing so hard at her. These are experiences you don't get in the wild. If you go out and you start looking for a red tail in the wild, good luck. You're not going to catch up with them. These are urban birds. They are used to people being around them. They have got an easier life than the birds living way out in the wild. I mean, we're talking rural birds altogether. These guys have got food handed to them every day on a plate, more or less, because it's so abundant here. And I'm down there at the corner, right by that snowbank last year. A chipmunk came across that parking lot. D3 came off the upper edge of Plant Science, swooped down trying to catch that chipmunk. Chipmunk went in the bush. D3 pulled up, landed on the branch, and sat there just acting like she was very upset about the whole deal. Well, I asked her, what's the matter? You miss your meal? I wasn't only 6 feet away from her. And I got the look. What do you want here? So I figured, okay, you're you, I'm me, have fun. These experiences we'll be covering all through the spring, of the winter, spring, summer, fall blockage. Oh, can't see your face. Good. And we'll be trying to experience more with the young this year. Course in mud. Seen them up on top of them buildings once in a while. I'm 17, wow. On top of course in mud, especially on mud, and I can't get them zoomed in enough to say so. Let's take a look. Maybe we can get some hint. Oh, tighten up. On the left, on the right side, let's turn this just a little more. Right up about right next to that greenhouse on the roof. If you can, I don't think I can zoom any more than that. you see little spikes sticking up and around just off to the right of center. There are bird deterrent spikes all along the top of these buildings to keep them from parking on the ledges and doing things to people down below. This, if I'm not mistaken, I think I read somewhere, I'm pretty sure, I'm almost 100% on it, that these were developed by the lab, the ornithology lab here on campus. It's similar to them stinking spikes over to the game farm road, to which everybody thinks them are a pain in the neck. Well, I understand their views, but they're in the pheasant business, not in the hawk feeding business. And that has been brought up. I know it seems barbaric, but we haven't lost a red tail or a songbird to one of them spikes yet. And that's the interesting part of it. As it goes, I've been on now, about a half hour, 33 minutes, yep. As it goes, I was hoping for a little better day for a tour. I was hoping it'd be a little drier out, but that didn't happen. So let me set this pan up a little more. And we'll see what we can do about going for a little bit of a walk. Not a heck of a lot. Aha. No questions so far? Good. Means everybody's well informed enough about the place to understand what I'm yapping about, huh? Wonder why they got a black bar on the dress. Huh, that's different. Now there's a few statues and a few other handmade items around campus that we'll get to see when it gets warmer out. This is Min's garden. The other end, the local tree, and Carl's favorite statue. We're away from that now. Don't want to get anybody's ideas that I'm a perv out here. Although he did stand and talk to her, I didn't. Now we're going to go out the front gate. Oh, we're up 21. We're gathering, kid. We're gathering. Whew. Wow. This is different. Ouch. I stepped in a hole. That was what the ouch was about. One more look up on Bradfield, nothing. Where do these birds go? Crying out loud, everybody's out for a tour today. I'm beginning to feel like I'm crowding everybody out. Okay, we're back on Tower Road. Let me focus here for a second. Of course, there's all the light towers. The old Nest Tower, and last year's tower, an old sports field. Plant Science Building, assigned to it. And the lights are on in the greenhouse. Oh, they got a net type thing over that greenhouse. Wow. And that just kind of cool come up here. Walk up through here, and it's lit up, and it looks really neat in the night, especially when there's snow all around it. From here, way down the end of Tower Road, that's the vet tower. It's out with a pipe or the doors on top. Now that is about, from this spot, almost half a mile. So you can imagine running up down these roads like we do. chasing hawks and how far we go with every step.